Hey, what's up, my friends? Jason Woodland back again with Always the Journey TV. This time we are on episode number 46. So moving right along and introducing you to all kinds of amazing people out here in the community. That is the goal here, is to spotlight people out here doing cool things with their business, their job, their artwork, their side hustles, the community work they're into, and everything in between. So thank you very much for tuning in. Again, Always the Journey TV. You can find us on YouTube. And this is a great time being able to learn about so many amazing people. Today, I'm extremely excited about our next interview. But right before I bring him in here, I'm going to be shouting out. The small business shout out goes out to the Utah Black Pages, which can be found at utahblackpages.com. And that's a good representation of Black-owned businesses all around the Utah area. So today I'm really excited about introducing you to my friend James Jackson III. He serves as the Supplier Diversity Program Manager at Zions Bancorporation, where he is responsible for building relationships with capable, diverse suppliers who can provide goods and services across the enterprise. Mr. Jackson has worked in various areas of the financial industry for 20 years and has found his passion serving and building his community. In conjunction with his role at the bank, Mr. Jackson serves on several boards of directors and is the founder of the Utah Black Chamber of Commerce. Since its inception in 2009, the Chamber has grown to not only serve Black-owned small businesses in Utah, but has become the premier organization connecting and engaging Utah's Black community and building bridges for inclusion. From the Chamber, James started or helped start several other programs to elevate Utah's diverse community, including Living Color Utah and the Utah Diversity Career Fair. Mr. Jackson is often sought after by various communities, government, and corporations for guidance related to topics of diversity and inclusion. Such inquiries prompted Mr. Jackson to start his own business focused on providing coaching, training, teaching leadership, and organizational development. At the end of 2020, Mr. Jackson, along with 24 authors around the world, published the book Leading Through the Pandemic: Unconventional Wisdom from Heartfelt Leaders. As a native Utahn, Mr. James Jackson III is committed to the social and economic growth of the Black and overall diverse community. His goal is to further promote Utah diversity with the hopes of it becoming a more attractive destination for people of color. Ultra excited to have James on today. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'd love to introduce my friend James Jackson III. What's happening?
Hey, Jason, how you doing?
I'm doing unbelievable. It's a beautiful day.
It is indeed a beautiful day. Spring fever in full effect, I tell you.
That's right. And we were just talking about before the show how we were involved in our yard work over the weekend, and that was just so fulfilling and nice to get back into it.
Yeah.
Dang. And we're somewhat neighbors, so that's sort of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're about 5 minutes from each other.
Pretty much. That's way cool, man. So, I'm ultra excited to dive in and learn about all the different things that you're involved with, and to also teach my viewers all the things that you're into, because there's going to be some things guaranteed that some of my viewers want to become part of or maybe link up with you on. So, first of all, though, I mean, this is a high-level question for everything that you're involved with. But I mean, everything that I just spoke of in your bio, what was your original inspiration to get involved in the path that you're currently on?
So it'd be easy to share just through a quick story.
Cool.
When there was a Utah Black Chamber that was founded in February 2006, that was slowly started to fizzle, and the founder approached me about possibly taking it over. I don't know what he saw in me. As someone who grew up mainly shy, quiet, and introverted, and he grew up with my family, I mean, I figured he knew better than approach me to something like this. But somehow he saw something in me, either just through my ways of growing up in the church or just through the family relationships we have, what have you. He felt that I could turn the organization around. So I really just leaned on his faith in me to lead that organization and grow it to what it could become. And I leaned on him as far as the knowledge and experience needed to move it forward, because, Jason, I had no experience in running a nonprofit or even running a business, or even really understanding what a Chamber of Commerce is all about. So But that being said, I kind of just dove into it with him, and just through a lot of mentors. It just started growing again. I actually rewind real quick. The other chamber just ended up dying. They didn't want me to take it over, so he helped me kind of start my own. And so in September 2009, I relaunched a C6 under a different name. And then, a couple of name changes later, finally became the Utah Black Chamber once the other Black Chamber slowly disappeared. But just through a lot of mentorship. And so just through that path, people then asking me, James, how did you start the chamber? How's it getting to the level that's becoming? And so I started talking to a lot of people and teaching them how to run, their business, how to run their nonprofit, just from my own experience. Because once again, I didn't have any experience of running a business or a nonprofit organization. And then I went to Zions Bank for a job. I basically just asked them for a job. I said, Zions, given the community base that I have, community base meaning the Black Chamber that's growing, is there an opportunity here? So I went on their diverse markets team, and now within the Supplier Diversity team, which kind of just folds right into the work of the Black Chamber, right? And not only with the Black businesses, but all the diverse businesses, hopefully providing them more opportunities, right? And so it started evolving, right, into a point where if it wasn't for the Black Chamber, I wouldn't have a job at Zions. Conversely, the Black Chamber wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Zions, because they were our first big corporate member. And so we've always had that great relationship there. But as people have started, as the chamber became bigger and as it became more and more successful and more prevalent, not only in the Black community and the diverse community, but just in the community in general, people have been asking me to speak here or provide a training here. I was like, I need to take this a little more serious. I mean, I can't do this for free all the time. That's taking up a lot of my time. And so I did some research and discovered the John Maxwell team and got a lot of my coaching, training, and speaking designations from there, and really learned how to hone in my speaking skills, my coaching skills, my training skills, develop those a little bit better. So I can be a stronger presenter, stronger trainer, stronger speaker, and a stronger community leader. So that's how it all unfolded, basically. It just slowly evolved, and I used the Black Chamber as kind of like my platform for how I became the person I am today. From that shy, quiet, introverted person back in 2007, 2008 to the person I am now. Mind you, the introversion doesn't leave me. After many speaking events or going out to place, especially now during the pandemic, if I leave my house for an event, I'll come back exhausted because I'm just not used to being around people. But, it was just the process. And I used the chamber as this is my growth. It was my growth and how I not only built my leadership, but now building leadership within the chamber and in the community.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's really interesting. I mean, you and I have sat down and talked on a handful of occasions, and it's cool to see how that umbrella sort of encompasses everything, where you got involved with Zions, and then of course John Maxwell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, John Maxwell. So when did you get involved with John Maxwell's organization through this process? About when was that?
I was in the summer of 2016, actually early spring of 2016 is when I was like, all right, I need to figure out how I can be a better speaker, a better leader for my team and community, how I can represent myself better. I kind of relate it to, I think every community needs like a LeBron James or a Dwayne Wade, so to speak, right? Because if you think about the spokespersons, the people really going out there hard, who always looks at themselves and people look at them as the MVP, but they're actually providing that channel to make sure others as well can be the MVP for their communities. And that's what I kind of aspire myself to become within the chambers. Like, we want to become that team, that Laker franchise that provides that opportunity for other organizations, not only Black organizations, but just diverse organizations in general to come up here, because we know that if we elevate Utah's diversity, Utah will remain at the top as far as the top economy in the country, even though we're already there now. In order to become stronger, more competitive, um, diversity is going to play a key role in that. And so I've always aspired myself to ensure that, the Black Chamber becomes that organization that creates that path, creates that legacy for other organizations to rise, um, and shine and grow.
Wow, that's amazing. Absolutely. And are you? I assume that you're also doing some networking outside of the state of Utah with other organizations to let them know about all the different inroads that you're making within the state of Utah, and then helping maybe even make connections for the economic side of things. Am I correct in understanding that?
It's a goal of mine. I'm working on it still. There's still so much work here to be done here in Utah, and so try to expand outside of that has become challenging. This as far as time wise and this bandwidth, but over this last several months, with this opportunity I have with the Supplier Diversity at Zions Bancorporation, it's allowed me to participate in national conferences, to kind of be engaged there. And I've interacted with a lot of other supplier diversity officers across the country. And then also interacted with a couple of other John Maxwell team members to participate in their events that they have going on across the country. It's a great opportunity now, being that everything is virtual. You can participate in so many different conferences nationally to kind of help, tell the story and get people to know and understand, what Utah really is all about. Yes, we are still a predominantly white state, but we are growing in diversity. And, I like to kind of share that diversity story that we're getting there. And we'd love to have you. So come over, come stop by, come move here. We'd love to have you.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. So tell us a little bit more in detail what your job looks like with Zions Bancorporation.
Yeah, my goal is basically to ensure that we are increasing our spend towards diverse businesses. So with any business, right, large or small, we all have some sort of B2B interaction somewhere. Like, who do we get our products and services from to push out our product, right? If you're a restaurant, where do you buy your utensils, and who does your marketing, and where do you buy your equipment, right? Well, within the bank, it's the same thing, but as a bank as large as Zions Bancorporation, we have 8 banks across the state. I mean, there's so many needs that we have to push out our service to our client base. So whether it be technology, whether it be marketing or print or equipment or facilities, or any type of events that we have, who's doing our promotions and our marketing and our catering and what have you. So my goal is to find diverse businesses who can fill in those needs. And so when those opportunities come, we're giving our diverse businesses a chance. And so all of our banks have a website, that a landing page people can go to learn more about Supplier Diversity Program. They can register and get put into our diverse supplier database. Then my goal is to start reaching out to different lines of businesses within the bank, and try to make those connections and see when or if there are some opportunities for diverse businesses to engage and have Zions as a customer.
Nice. Okay, that's way cool. That definitely gives me a better understanding too. And then along this side, I mean, we've got so many different things to cover. I'm just excited about learning about all these things. I know that there's some big things that you're currently working on in the Black Chamber. Is that something that you want to sort of share and talk about? What does the sort of big picture of the Black Chamber look like?
Always. I always want to promote those, just because it requires a lot of effort, a lot of work within the chamber, a lot of buy-in from the community, and a lot of money. So always looking for sponsors and funders to help us with this initiatives. But in the fall of 2019, we created this idea of a hub for the Black community, because there's 2 main reasons why attrition is so high for Black professionals here in Utah. For example, the Black population in 1950 was 0.4%. If you go to 2008, when I was start working and launching the Black Chamber, it was 0.8%, right? So we doubled in population. It took 60 years, but we doubled in the Black population. But 2014, the Black population was just under 2%. So we doubled again, but within 5 years. Why? Because of Utah's economy and all the other businesses that are coming up here. Here we are in 2021. Guess what the Black population is? Still at that 2%, which lets us know there's a lot of attrition happening because I'm meeting a lot of new Black professionals. The chamber's getting a lot of calls. I'm getting a lot of calls about Black professionals moving into Utah, but then they leave. And there's two reasons for that. The main one is getting connected to the community. So whether you're a big business, like if you're a Zions Bank, or if you're, a lot of these other big companies out here, the most important thing you can do, and Zions Bank does a great job at this, is getting your employees connected to the community. So whether they're Hispanic, whether they're LGBTQ, Black, Asian, what have you, we're connected with those organizations, with those events, with that community. So if we're recruiting from out of state, those employees know how, where their tribe is, right? How to engage within their particular community, so they can really feel like they can call Utah home. Because it doesn't matter what type of diversity and inclusion strategy you have set up at your company. They can feel awesome at their company, but when they leave, what happens? Right? They can't make themselves feel at home if it's just them at home, right? So it's a real struggle for a lot of particularly the Black professionals to really get connected here in a predominantly white state. The second reason why it's challenging for Black professionals is career pathing, providing those opportunities. We know with the systemic racism within opportunities, right, is giving them the equitable playing field so they are eligible and they are visible enough to, go up through the chains here. There was an awesome individual here that was helping out with the mentorship program that we're putting together, who left Utah for a CTO position because that was the next step for him. And there was just nothing happening here for him anymore for him to take that next step up. So it's important that we provide these career pathing opportunities. So in the fall of 2019, we created this idea, this hub called the Black Success Center, which will be the solution to those two challenges. Getting people connected to the Black community and providing an educational platform for professional and personal development for Black professionals and for our Black small businesses. We finished our pilot site, which is in West Haven, Utah, where we're planning on launching our Northern Utah Black Chamber chapter. So we're going to start piloting our programming up there, hopefully by this summer. And right now we're in the fundraising stage to lock down a location in downtown Salt Lake City for our full scaled out Black Success Center, which will include incubator space, conference rooms, training rooms, small event hall, and to provide that platform for people to engage, connect, and educate the Black community, for the Black community to thrive here. And the hope is that we'll see attrition go down, retention go up, and have the Black community thrive here.
Wow, that's an amazing endeavor. Do you have sort of any kind of a timeline in mind of when you're wanting to try and achieve that?
Yeah, so we are shopping for a location right now. And our goal is to have a location locked down, hopefully by the fall, and that we can start construction and opening by the end of 2022 is the goal. But we do have partnerships in the Salt Lake area. So, we could push out at least the programming piece for now, all the education programs that we have rolling out. We can start rolling those out while the facility is being built. But yeah, once that facility is being built, and when that facility is built, we will definitely see that attrition die down. We'll start seeing the retention skyrocket, and then it was that quote of rise the tide raises all ships, something to that effect, right? Well, if we see the Black community start rising, you'll see all of Utah's diversity start elevating as well.
That's amazing. I love that. And it sounds like it's going to be really sort of an all-inclusive, sort of centralized area that someone could come and maybe learn about everything from maybe SBA funding, leadership. They can come and hear talks. They can, all the above, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We have three main flagship programs that we'll be going on there. One is to increase diversity within corporations, government, community organizations. One to start businesses, get them going. And then we have a partnership with a few other companies or organizations to provide a better, stronger platform for the most underrepresented group, which is the Black women businesses, and giving them better opportunities to thrive here as well. And then we have some other educational platforms to really remove a lot of systemic barriers that exist. So, some financial literacy courses, some basic other trainings that we have using the resources that the Utah Black Chamber provides. So people can go to blacksuccesscenter.com, which is a website as people can donate to the cause, and they can also get an update on what's going on within the Black Success Center and learn more about the programs that we have already rolling out through there. And they'll be able to keep updated. They can donate. And yeah, we're just excited to get that taken off. And so that's one big thing. The other one is that we're working with multiple partners within the Black community, as well as with the Leonardo, to put together a Black museum, a permanent Black museum here in downtown Salt Lake City. And so we're working on fundraising for that as well. The Leonardos, in partnering with us, they reserve space to have the museum within their facility.
Oh,
They
great.
have 100,000 square feet of space, and they came to us and said, we'd love to have a Black museum here. And so myself, as well as being the chamber and a few other organizations, are in conversations right now about how to put that together and curate it. And we plan on making an announcement in June about what that's going to look like.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so let's talk about how dollars can flow to you. So if someone watching this is saying, "Hey, gosh, I'm interested in donating," is the Black Success Center, is that going to fall under the umbrella of the Black Chamber's nonprofit status, or what does that look like?
Well, that's a good question, Jason. The chamber created a 501c3 specifically for all of our educational programming, because we know that to really roll that out, particularly for asking for sponsorships, it's a lot easier to go through the 501c3 channel than just the C6, right? So the Black Success Center is under our 501c3 foundation. So when everybody contributes to the Black Success Center, it's under our foundation.
Okay, and so obviously, well, let's not say obviously, since neither one of us are accountants. Since it's a 501c3, the possibility of someone being able to make a donation and write it off on their taxes is possible. Of course, you want to check with your accountant before doing so regarding the write-offs. But okay, so that's wonderful. So there's a 501c3 arm of the Black Chamber where people can donate. I think it's also important for people to understand too that you don't have to be Black to be a member of the Black Chamber. You can be any ethnicity whatsoever. I know I'm a member of the Black Chamber, and it's important for people to become part of the Black Chamber so they can get a better understanding of everything you guys are into and what you're doing, and to be a good support system there. And then, of course, that furthers the goal of what you're trying to do with Black Chamber and the Black Success Center overall. I feel like I'm selling what you're doing. I'm just passionate about what you're working on. I think this is cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, just to reemphasize that our goal is to build bridges. The Black Chamber is not just siloing us just to have like our own little ecosystem here in the Black community. We won't survive that way. The Utah Black Chamber exists as a pipeline, as a resource, as a bridge builder to the overall Utah community. So like you said, Jason, people can understand what's going on in the Black community. They know how to equip themselves to be able to connect, recruit, and navigate, right, of things happening within Utah's Black community. Because through that, once you have a better understanding, you know how to connect. Well, and you'll know how to recruit, retain, and grow the Black community, because that just grows the overall community, right? And so that's the goal of the Black Chamber. And so if you're there to support that mission, you can be Black, white, red, yellow. It doesn't matter. We're structured enough that we can all, put you to work. And I'm glad you reminded me, Jason, because, we're putting together a campaign right now, because we received an overwhelming amount of membership over the course of this last year, right? With all the civil and racial injustice, that we have to actually develop a specific process to connect better with our members, because we doubled in size over this last year. And
Doubled in size?
we're an all volunteer organization. And so
Nice.
when you're all volunteer organization, people have their own business, people have their own jobs, right? And trying to commit a few minutes aside, like, it became overwhelming, particularly for our membership committee. So we're working on developing a stronger process to reach out to our membership base and say, hey, welcome to the chamber. Let's get you connected. One of the biggest ways to get connected and working within the chamber is that we have committees. That's how we operate. And so we have 10 committees right now. Each of our board members chair that committee. And so whether you're good at helping, events happen or marketing, or if you know how to, if you're interested in knowing how to grow diversity and inclusion within your corporations, or you know how to be an you're working with policy and advocacy, or finances, or you're in Utah County or in northern Utah or in southern Utah and you want to get connected. We have 3 chapters that we're rolling out this year. We had one that Utah County that just started in November 2019. We're rolling out our northern Utah chapter this spring, and then I'm in talks right now trying to launch our southern Utah chapter, so we'll be able to cover most of the Utah's footprint to grow that the Black community throughout, because we know that we're not just in Salt Lake and we're not just in northern Utah. We're all over. I mean, we're more dense in the Salt Lake, Davis, and Weber County. But in order to support all of our Black-owned businesses, I mean, there's Policy Kings Brewery in Cedar City, a Black-owned brewery in Cedar City, Utah. Who would have thunk that, right? But we want to be able that we provide that platform to be able to support them.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. We've covered some really great stuff so far. Is there anything that I might be missing regarding some of the awesome works that you guys are doing at Black Chamber, what you're trying to achieve at Black Success Center, that I may have missed asking, or that you want to share?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll just, send out, some quick websites that people can go to. Like I mentioned, the blacksuccesscenter.com.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned earlier the UtahBlackPages.com, and that's a website where people can go to learn to see the growing directory of Black-owned businesses. And I say growing directory because it's a free directory Black businesses can go to. They don't have to be a member of the chamber. They can go on there and get added to this directory. And then they get added to this directory. They get access to a free year of Podium, which is an awesome messaging service.
Oh, yeah.
That they can take advantage of to help grow their business, and they get help with their Google listing and so forth. Also, within the Black Success Center that we teamed up with a few other partners, our Black Women Business program is called New Pattern. So people can go to newpattern.org, and they can go there and learn more about how to support Black women-owned businesses. It's a grant and mentorship program. And so you can go on there and you can contribute. There's a link on that website where you can contribute to that cause as well. And also you can go to the leonardo.org/sortingout-race, and that shares a current exhibit that we have at the Leonardo that will go for about another month. That kind of shares what people find in their normal household about what creates the stereotypes and racist imagery that we have today. So when you think about Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben's and Land O'Lakes and Lucky Charms and all these other different things that we have in our households, right? To being mindful of what's helped create the environment that we have today that's more prevalent, right? And so we have that exhibit going on now to kind of stimulate the conversation of what we would like to have at the Black Museum. That we want to start curating and building. And let's see, that's all? I think that's all the websites. We just have a lot going on. And then also to join as a member of the Black Chamber, like you mentioned, Jason, doesn't matter what background you have. It doesn't matter if you're a business owner or not a business owner. You can go to UtahBlackChamber.com and become a member online. Just click on Join Us. And then you can, whether it be an individual, student, nonprofit, business, or corporate member, we have a membership for you where you can start engaging with us and, help us do some of the work that we're doing within the community.
Awesome. Oh man, this is good stuff. I mean, every time we talk, you've always got like 10 things happen, and I love it.
Yeah, I wish I didn't have 10 things happen, but slowly working on that.
Exactly. All right, cool. So, and we've already sort of touched on this, but the concept of which geographic locations do you cover? So, I mean, it really runs the gamut all over the state of Utah, whether it be the chamber or people that will be able to soon access the Black Success Center. Utah Black Pages really encompasses everything from Tooele to Heber and Logan, St. George, everything in between. It's just the state of Utah, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice. Okay, cool. So I want to dive in just a little bit more about your personal business, which is J3 Motivation. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you do with that business?
Yeah, great, Jason. So the John Maxwell is like more the foundation, right? It pretty much helped me better position myself and develop myself to be a better speaker, trainer, and coach. And so within J3 Motivation, my goal is to help people become a better version of themselves, whether they're a business owner or business professional. My particular path is leadership development. Everything rises and falls on leadership. And I know how developing your leadership, how that just develops your overall growth, right? If you just focus on developing leadership, because I know for me, developing my leadership grew my confidence, and growing my confidence, I became a better salesperson. Jason, I never thought I'd be a salesperson. But man, when you talk about selling sponsorships, selling memberships, and selling, a multi-million-dollar proposal on building a facility, I got pretty good at selling stuff, right? But it's because of my ability to lead, right? And so that's what I focus on, helping people become a better leader, a better communicator. I do this for small organizations as well, nonprofits, and I'm growing more into bigger businesses as well. And that's usually what I speak about too. So I do keynote speaking, across the valley, regionally as well, just because a lot of it's virtually at this moment. So I do speak about leadership and organizational development and communication. And over this last 18 months, I'd say I started diving into the diversity and inclusion realm. So I teamed up with a lot of other D&I practitioners across the valley and honed in and developed my diversity and inclusion abilities as well, to teach people about how to develop their diversity inclusion strategy, whether it's developing their leadership structure, to developing their employee resource groups, to how to better recruit and so forth. So that's basically what J3 Motivation is all about, is helping you or your company become a better version of itself through leadership, organizational development, communication, and diversity and inclusion.
Nice. Okay, so am I understanding that you can work with both groups as well as individuals then?
Yes.
Okay, so if a group wants you to come in, you could maybe work with a group of people, once a week for X period of time, and then you will set up the billing accordingly. And then if someone says, "Gosh, I want James as my personal coach," that's something you can do. Is that correct then? Okay.
Yeah, and coaching is a very specific process for me just because of my bandwidth. So I usually only take on about maximum 2 coaching clients at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So at this moment, I do have 1 slot available. So if people are interested in coaching, I do have 1 slot. Coaching is usually 6 months to a year is what I usually try to get people to commit to. But the reason why I only like to do 2, and because of the bandwidth, because I know the effort it takes into coaching someone, right? It's like I'm really leaning into them more. It's more not just training them. It's not just teaching them. Like coaching them is a more intense related relationship to help them grow better and become better. So I take that very, very seriously. Not that I don't take anything else seriously, but coaching is a very personal and professional relationship. And so in order to do that, I want to be sure that I do set a good amount of time aside, not only during that coaching engagement with one-on-one, but also as far as, my research part and development part, to come back and be sure I'm holding that person accountable, that we're helping that person grow along that path. And so I don't promote my coaching too often just because of that. I don't want to I'm not trying to like turn people away at all, but at the same time, I definitely like to keep it consistent and make sure that I get one or two people at a time each year coaching.
Okay.
That's fun for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you answered the question I was going to follow it up with was how long do you expect someone to really dedicate? And that's the 6 to 12 month time frame then.
Yeah, I mean, because coaching is a journey. It's not an event. You're going through the process of development. Like, for example, if we're going through our coaching relationship and you're like, I want to become, a CEO of a company. And that's not going to happen overnight, right?
Right.
Because when we coach, we don't talk about small goals. Like, I want to help you become someone bigger, someone that you want to aspire, and it's achievable, right?
Mhm.
But it takes time. You're not going to be able to achieve this within a month or even 90 days because you have to become the person that's going to take in order to achieve that goal, right? So it is a journey. So the longer you can stay in a coaching program, the better it is for you. 6 months is really just the beginning, right? And so I always encourage people to sign on for at least another 6 months, because when you leave that 6 months, you probably got that basis going, that confidence, and you're like, all right, I'm going to go out and do this and I'm going to make it happen. But for really, really, really make it happen, stick with coaching for about a year, and you'll truly see an evolution of yourself.
Exactly. Okay, that's awesome. So, would you say that this website is going to be the best way to get a hold of you for any of these things? So, if someone just wants to learn more about what you're trying to do at Black Success Center, if they want to learn about maybe hiring you to come and speak to their organization and so forth, is this the best way to get a hold of you then, would you say?
Yes. I mean, I'm available on any social media platforms except Twitter. I don't know how to do Twitter. I don't know how to tweet. But people can connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, I think that's where I'm most active. But I guide my calendar and how I build up my business through email. And so when they go to the website and hit me up that way and connect with me, then I'll get that email notification. We can start corresponding accordingly. Until I have enough bandwidth to train and teach and hire an EA, this is going to be the best route for me right now.
Awesome. Well, next time we have tea, I'm going to teach you how to tweet.
No, I don't know if I can handle more than the 3 social media platforms that I have right now. I'm not even as active as I used to be, just because things have become so busy lately that, if anything, I just go quick news feed overview and then often doing my business. But hopefully over time, I'll get back to start re-engaging more with social media, because I know it's important for any business owner, right? Is that engagement through social media. But I guess it's a good problem to have that I just been so busy that I haven't been able to really engage much on social media.
Exactly. So people can find you, of course, personally on Facebook and LinkedIn, James Jackson III. They can find you under J3 Motivation on Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have a business page for J3 Motivation.
Yeah, the business Facebook page is on there that people can go to. So too many pages. That's why if you just go to the website, you'll find me there. It'll be a lot easier.
Oh, that's awesome.
I just want to
Okay,
make
cool.
it easy for people to find me, right? It's like I'm not hiding.
Exactly. Okay, awesome. Well, as we move to a wrap up, I like to ask, what is one of your favorite quotes, favorite songs, or both?
Mm. Can I share 2 quotes?
Absolutely. I'd love to hear it.
One quote that I've always aspired or always looked at is "Hustle in silence and let success make all the noise."
Love it.
I don't know who made that quote. I just saw it on social media. And I thought about, people talk so loudly about, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. And sometimes it's great to project your goals out there, but there's people who do a lot of talking and not enough walking, right? So I'm one of those people who talk intimately within my relationships, right? Within my influence, because those are the people who are going to hold me accountable. Those are the people who are going to keep me moving and growing, right? And so when I started following that quote a lot more, I've actually found myself becoming more hungry and more successful, right? Just because, I'm not just talking. I'm actually out there doing it, becoming more busy. So, and then my other quote I would say is, opportunities are not lost. They're just found by someone else. So
Love it. That's
yeah,
awesome.
and so I think that's also a detriment to me as well, as take advantage of all these opportunities, right? Because I don't want them to be found by someone else. So if someone comes to me and say I have this opportunity, my first reaction is yes. But at the same time, I gotta make sure it's within my capacity, within my bandwidth. But in order to be ready, you gotta stay ready. And so, my goal is not to lose out on any of these opportunities and not have them found by someone else. Um, as far as favorite songs, I kind of go with the times these days. I like to stay up to date on music. Um, I told myself I don't want to be like my parents and listen to my music that I listened to when I was young, and listen to that same music for the next 40 years of my life, right? I try to stay up to date as much as possible. I'll still go back to the 90s and 2000s, obviously. Those are
Yeah.
always going to be the best music to me. Um, but I remember when I first got my business up and running, the chamber, I would say, and really getting things moving. Jill Scott had a song called "Living My Life Like It's Golden," right?
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah, that was like when I started going. When I used to run, my knees don't allow me to run anymore. But whenever I go out running, that was like the first song to get me moving. Right? Is just "Live My Life Like It's Golden." I think she just calls it golden, but now I have that song going on in my head. And the song right now that I feel like I'm playing 2 or 3 times a day is, that new duo, Silk Sonic, with Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars. And they
Nice.
have that "Leave That Door Open" song. Man, I tell you, that's just a combination of the songs I love listening to back in the day with these new artists that are coming out with such amazing talent, right? And so just that collaboration, and I'm excited for that album to come out, and see what that looks like with Bootsy Collins as the host or whatever that means. I was like, this is going to be something special. So
Absolutely.
I'm excited about that.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, Bootsy Collins, that's definitely a great throwback.
Going all the way back to Parliament, man. I tell you, that's going back to my dad's old school music, right? With Atomic Dog and Flashlight and all those other jams.
Some of the best stuff ever. And you know what? I still listen to that stuff pretty regularly. Everything from like, Parliament, George Clinton, Zapp and Roger. I mean, that's the bedrock of my youth. So
Yeah.
good stuff.
I mean, it's all that music today or from back in the day that pretty much gives us most of the music now, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm always telling people is that, music is always built on derivatives of what was going on yesterday and last year and 10 years ago, et cetera. So there's always a lot of really good overlap, let's say.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff, man. Well, this has been a real pleasure. Is there anything else that you feel like I may have missed asking, or anything else that you'd like to share regarding either your work at Zions, Black Chamber, the Black Success Center, your personal coaching business? Is there anything else there that you can think of?
Pretty sure I'll remember once we leave. But I feel like I can vomit on people all day long about the things that the chamber has going on. So I feel like let's give people a basis where they can start, and then they'll start diving into everything else that we have going on.
That's awesome. And it's usually at like 1:00 in the morning is when it's, oh yeah, dang, I should have shared this thing.
Right. I always have, or in the shower.
Yes, exactly.
Shower working out was one of the best ideas that come to me.
Oh, that's awesome. I agree totally. Man, this has been a real pleasure. I'm so extremely thankful that you were able to come on the show today. Yeah, man, thanks for being here.
Yeah, well, thanks for inviting me. This was a lot of fun. And then, let's connect again and let's get you connected with one of our committees within the chamber, Jason. Let's talk more about where your strengths lies, and let's get you more engaged and help pushing out the work. And then people can learn more about Woodland Advisors in the process.
Thanks, my friend. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So in wrapping up, I'm going to have you hang out in the green room for a few moments while I wrap up the show. Is that cool with you?
Sounds good.
All right, my friend. Thanks again so much, and we'll talk to you here in just a sec.
All right.
So there you have it, my friends. Episode number 46, Always the Journey TV. That's James Jackson III. This guy is absolutely amazing. If you're not already connected to him on social media, definitely find him. He's working on, as you see, a ton of things, always is, always has been, and I think always will be. He's definitely the man about town. So reach out to him. If you enjoyed the content, which I know you did, throw us a thumbs up and add a comment and say hello, say what's up. And if you have any questions, also throw them in the comments, and I'll ask them or answer them to the best of my ability. And if I don't have the answer, I know James does. So again, thank you so much, and also subscribe to the channel. So anyway, we'll see you again on the next episode. Take care, my friends.